Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. I'm Kel McDonald. I make comics you can read at kelmcdonald.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Elena Pete. I make comics that you can read at alenapete.com or at weregeek.com if you want to read my comics.
Cool. What are you working on tonight, Elena?
I've got a commission to finish up from the furry show I was at a week or two ago, and then I've got a couple more Indigenous. That one I was working on last week I got to finish off. But then I'm just gonna draw. Maybe I'll draw some indulgent fan art again or something. I don't know.
You know, I
What's
love
in the
receiving
process?
fan art. If you wanted to draw me some fan art,
Hell yeah, I like to draw some werewolves.
uh
I'm just drawing us as circles tonight, apparently. We're
yeah,
just we're just Squishable plush. We're Kirby's. Let's do
good,
Kirby's.
good.
Let's do
One
Kirby's.
time, so I have little plush wolves. One of which I bought recently to be like part of my display to come to my table at a convention. There's a cute wolf. Um, and my friend brought her dog over, and
Oh,
the
hang on, we
dog
got no
thought,
sound.
oh,
Why do we
um,
have no sound? I think we got sound now. Hi everybody.
yeah, there's sound on my end.
I got no sound
Badger,
and now I'm good.
Badger's in
Okay.
my chat. Badger, can you hear us? Like we got sound on my chat. I think.
Sound on your end, no sound on mine, but I'm good now. I fixed it. It was it
Okay,
once again
cool.
not registering my headset.
Okay, yeah. Badger could hear us both.
Cool. Good. Hey Badger.
So yeah, so
there's a Kirby
basically,
bird.
so this dog did not realize that the plush wolf was not real. So he was looking up and being like, "Why is that dog not coming down to play with me? Why is it sitting on that shelf
I
and
would like
not
that dog to
moving?"
be here now and not
I
up
would like
there.
that dog to be here and to be playing with me. Um, my feelings are hurt that this dog doesn't want to be my friend.
Aw.
Uh, it's very cute.
This Kirby wolf is very
Uh,
funny, and I am very amused. I'm also going to give you a necktie because
good.
that's your deal. Just in the middle of your body. There's no
Yeah,
sense to it.
that's yeah. It's like uh cartoon animal rules. Like it could just
Yeah,
go anywhere.
yeah. There we go. You're a little tiny wolf. I gotta give you little
Good.
cheek puffs though. That's how it's not a cat. All right. I've done our obligatory portraits for the night. Like to do them. Like it so that we know who we are.
Yeah.
That's me. That's you. Happy St. Patty's Day.
So you,
Anyone who's interested in that?
oh yeah. I guess as someone of Irish descent, I should care about that.
Meh, it's kind
Um,
of a BS holiday, especially if you're Irish. It's like that's not a
yeah.
thing they
Uh,
celebrate in Ireland.
well, it's I have heard that it's actually like solemn in Ireland and
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
a
It's an
actual
actual
like
saint's day.
religious holiday. Yeah, like
Yeah. Instead of like,
not
let's just get very drunk for no reason.
yeah, yeah. Um
Hey, I work on this one. It is
um
mostly coloring, and I gotta redraw this guy's face.
um a couple of days ago, since it was the Ides of March, I saw a lot of people sharing what is one of my favorite screenshots of a Tumblr conversation,
Good.
um, which is, you know, it's bullshit that October isn't the eighth month, and November isn't the ninth month, and December isn't the 10th month. Whoever fucked this up should get stabbed, and the one person
Like,
replies,
good
well, I have
news.
good news for you. um
Guess what? Precisely that, in fact, did happen.
yeah,
There's a
yeah.
whole day about it and everything.
uh
Did you see that Vantcalf is back on?
I did not see that. I haven't really been paying attention to the internet. Been
I should, did you get the email about it? If you
Oh,
haven't, I can
well,
forward it to you.
I did not get the email. It's probably because I didn't like get a table forwarded over and over.
Oh, that
Um,
would probably do it. Yeah, whereas I just kept porting mine forward and forward and forward because
no,
I was like,
I asked
cons
for
will
a
happen
or
eventually.
I asked for a refund because I was like, listen, I need dollars.
Yeah, it's been a long time to be sitting on that
Um,
money.
Speaking of needing dollars, if anyone's listening to the stream, there's a sale on my store right now. Um, 20% off if you use the coupon code taxes because I got a much bigger tax bill than I was expecting. So
Never fun,
buy,
especially as a small creator.
yeah. So please go buy my shit. Um, I have many a werewolf book for everyone.
A fine werewolf book.
I have a werewolf book that Alina is in.
Hell yeah. We got some werewolves. We will let you
Yeah.
pet them, maybe, if you ask nicely.
Yes, because we're pro consent on this
Yeah.
stream.
And also the book is
Um,
called Can I Pet Your Werewolf? So, like,
yes.
do ask first. Ask before you pet a werewolf.
That was the thing when I was doing interviews when it was first kickstarting. I went on a podcast and um, one of the joke questions was like, "Why are you going around petting werewolves?" And it's like, listen, it says it's a question. It's asking for consent.
Nope. Good.
Um,
It's good.
yeah.
It's very important to do. Especially when the werewolf,
Uh,
if they were not in a wolf form, you could ask them yourself, but they are wolfed out, so they may need someone else to translate.
yeah. Question: what are your thoughts on werewolves being able to talk to dogs?
I mean, I kind of like it, even if it's not like super thematically appropriate. I just love that like dogs and wolves have very similar body language, so it does make
Mm-hmm.
sense that a werewolf would be able to talk to a dog. Because like dogs and wolves can talk, sort of,
Yeah.
or communicate
Yeah.
with one another. Hey, we got a gopher, and we got a hurtbag in the chat. Hey, everybody.
Hi, chat people. So we got a gopher and we got a badger.
Hey.
So we're collecting all the animals tonight.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, I discovered an excellent manga sound effect
Ooh.
today, which is kitty punch.
Oh, good. Like
That is
Kitty?
yeah, kitty is yeah, kitty
Good.
punch. That is the sound effect when your cat hits your face to wake you up in the morning.
Oh, good.
I thought I'd share that beautiful sound effect.
Kitty punch. I wonder what the sound effect was in the original Japanese.
No, that's like what they literally wrote, apparently,
Really?
according to the translator. Kitty punch.
Oh, that's very good.
Yes. Uh, so it's the thing in like manga is they have like sound effects and then they have like asides, which are like things that maybe the character says quieter or is maybe thinking. They're not. It doesn't necessarily get addressed by the dialogue. So sometimes it's hard to tell if a thing is meant to be a sound effect or an aside. So it's either a sound effect or it is this cat character literally said kitty punch while batting someone's
while
face
punching
to wake
somebody.
them up. Yeah.
Good.
So it's
Either
one of those
way,
two. Yeah,
excellent
it's
use of
excellent.
onomatopoeia. I
Yeah,
enjoy it a lot.
yeah.
A really good onomatopoeia is just like a thing of beauty. Slinky Malinky is a kids book series.
Hmm.
That name is just fun to say. Whoever named that, good job.
Yeah,
We're
that
firing on
is a
all
good name.
cylinders for a kids book.
Good alliteration or
Hmm
rhymey, good rhythm to it.
Secondly, last
Uh,
time I was over at my sister's house, I picked up and read Brown Bear, Where Are You? Or whatever it's called,
hmm.
to my niece. And I have not read that book in like since she was a child, because she's the youngest of the siblings and the one that I would read books to. And boy, that book holds up. It's still good. Still good for kids.
I
Kids
don't
love it.
believe I've read that one.
Yep, it's very repetitive, but kids really like it, and the illustrations are cute.
Um,
Oh no, the dog in the series of Slinky Malinky is called Harry McClary. Oh, that's good too.
did you read Banicula as a kid?
I did. I drew Bunnicula fan art.
It's a good, good
I love
book.
the idea of a Dracula bunny. It was very good and compelling. Oh, and it was
Um,
Zach McQuack is the duck. Or just Zachary
what?
Quack. I'm sad that it's not Zach McQuack.
Um,
There's a Brown Bear What Do You See book called Scientist What Do You See, which I do need for my niece because several of her family members are scientists. So
that
I
is
need to go and
also
buy
good.
that for her next birthday, which is coming up actually. Thank you for reminding me.
Um,
She is a June baby, but it is never too early to start shopping for a kid because their birthdays
uh,
come up faster than you think. Yeah, that's a better head shape for this guy. Also, I freehand drew that gun and I'm still proud of myself. I don't
hooray!
draw a lot of guns, but yeah. This is the
Guns
commission that I
are
took at the
a
very end of the
pain.
free show, and I was like, well, I can't draw this entire commission in under 2 hours, so I will work on it and get back to you. And he's like, that's fine. I was like, that also means that I can do digital color instead of Copic color, so you'll get a lot more vibrant colors out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing tonight. Oh no,
Um,
there's a book called General Relativity for Babies and Statistical Physics for Babies, which is really good. I know it's for actual babies, but it also makes it sound like it's just like really snide at undergrads.
like
Look,
for dummy, like those like such
yeah,
and such for dummies books.
yes,
Um, I
you're gonna
also
need to get. Mm,
it makes me think of uh there I was talking to some other people about like books we liked as a kid because I never enjoyed Harry Potter. It was never my thing.
no, yeah,
Um and the instead so like people were talking about stuff that they got into like instead of Harry Potter.
okay.
And I was like, so as a kid, I really liked this book series called Cat Wings,
Oh,
which
I
is about
fucking love
cats
Cat Wings. That's an Ursula Le
that.
Guin series.
Yeah, no, so that's the thing is like I read that, I loved it as a kid, and so
Yeah,
fast forward to me at a comic convention and everyone is talking about how great Left Hand of Darkness is, and I'm like, why does that author's name sound familiar?
yup,
And then of
it's
course I
Cat
look her up
Wings.
and it's, oh, she also wrote Cat Wings.
Yes. Gosh, so good. I see that was one of those series that I read when I was very, very young and I found at the library, so I didn't have a copy of it. But it stuck in my memory so vividly that I was just like, I remember reading a book series that had really cute anime or like little characters in it that were cats, just like regular kittens with wings. And I remember nothing else about it, and nobody else had ever heard of this apparently. So I just like eventually you get to the point where you're like, did I hallucinate this? Did I make this up?
No, there's
Until you
Catwings, there's
finally find
Catwings
it.
Returns, there's Jane on her
Yeah.
own, and then
Yes.
Great Alexander and the Catwings.
And all of them are
But
good, and all of them have the cutest illustrations.
yeah, but so like a thing that as an adult, because I found new copies to like flip through,
Good.
and a thing that I think is like very evocative at the beginning is the logic for why they have wings is that their mom dreamed of flying away, and
Aw.
so all her kittens have wings now.
Oh, good. I remember her being really concerned about them, and she had to like hide them in the barn because the humans would be
No, it's
upset
she
if
hid
they
them
made these
while
had
they were
wings.
in the city and then told them they cannot live in the city because like too many people will notice they have wings. So then
Right.
they flew to the forest. One of them got in a bad fight with an owl.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
So then they decided to live in a barn.
Yeah. Oh, the
So
Earthsea Quartet was so good too.
mom didn't send them to a barn. They found the barn on their own.
Right, right. As part of their like early adventures.
Yeah.
And then they could live in the barn and it was safe. And there was a kid, I think, who knew about them.
Like there were kids that like found out about them and like fed them the way like
You would
a
just
kid
leave a
might feed
like
a stray
saucer.
cat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I think
Those were good.
Alexander, the regular cat that befriended them, was belonged to the two kids.
Gotcha.
But then Catwings Returns is they're like, hey, I feel really shitty about abandoning mom to live in the city on her own.
Yeah, we should go see
Um,
Mom.
so they fly back to see their mom, and they can't find her in the streets. And it turns out
Mm.
she did find a home. A nice lady adopted her,
Oh, good.
and she's like, "Oh, but I had more kittens, so you should go find my other kitten with wings."
I keep having kittens with wings. It's a thing. It's got to be
Yeah.
like a dominant trait. I guess not dominant,
Well,
and it's not sex linked
it's
either,
about
but it
it's
is.
about her dreaming. So
Yeah.
like, it's kind of implied that now that she has a safe home, she isn't dreaming of flying away. So she,
Right.
like that second batch of kids with wings. That's the end of it.
Yeah. There'll be no more. She's safe now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. See, I think I was really into those, and I was not into Harry Potter because I was almost too old for Harry Potter when it came out. And when I read it, I was like, these suck, because I had read quite a lot of YA. Um, so here's how my reading adventures went when I was a kid. Uh, I very early on, like in grade 1 or 2, my teachers were like, "You read very well. You should not be reading at your level. Here are some like much higher grade books." And so I tore through like Ramona and Vanicula and all the Bever Clearly, and eventually worked my way to Swiftly Tilting Planet and the other Madeline L'Engle books, and then was like obsessed with those for a long time. I to the point where I
Um,
started drawing cherubs from it, like the as they're described biblically, with the like ever unfolding
the
eyes and
bazillion eyes.
wings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and my grandma was like, "Oh no, you're seeing angels. We need to get you exorcised or something." And I was like, "What? This isn't an angel. This is from my sci-fi book."
Um, so I am the opposite of you in that like I did not read a lot as a kid. I am still a very slow reader because I am dyslexic.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Harry Potter was given to me because that's the book that gets kids into reading. And so I bounced off it hard. Harry did not even get to Hogwarts. Like I quit before
No,
that.
because he's boring and bad.
Well, it's also like I've been thinking a lot about the way books start. Harry Potter does not start with Harry. Harry starts with you're in the mind of his judgy shitty uncle, like,
Yes, yeah, which is
and
a weird place to
that
start off
is,
as a kid.
yeah, and
It really starts from an
yeah.
adult point of view, which is not what you want to do with a middle grades book. You want to start it with the kids
Yeah.
so the kids get interested in people like them.
And so yeah, I just like bounced off it hard, but it's also
Mm,
like there are many books where I bounced off them hard because they didn't get to the plot quick enough.
gotcha.
I really liked the Hobbit animated movie as a kid,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
my aunt lent me her copy of The Hobbit.
And that does not
And
get to the point fast.
I gave up because they were still having breakfast. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so I was like, I'm done.
See,
They're
whereas I got
singing about
into the
doing
like,
dishes.
yeah, uh, the one that really got me when I was young, there was a series called "So You Think You're a Wizard,"
Hmm.
uh, and it was a Diane Duane book series, and it's these two young kids who have like crazy wizard powers. Like not even like they would leave Harry Potter in the dust because they're not like wizards I cast spell wizards. They're wizards like I do quantum physics that is magic to keep the universe running, level magic. And like if we
Hmm.
don't do our jobs, the universe's mechanisms will break down and all life as we know it will cease. So like that level of power for wizards, and then I went to read Harry Potter and I was like, oh, they can like fucking levitate a teapot or something. Lame.
Well, so this is the thing is like
That's not
as the
wizards.
so this is another thing like because my pal Kevin, who I believe is making your website, um,
Yes.
it's we go running every Friday, and he has been reading Harry Potter and listening to a podcast that is from like former Harry Potter fans,
Oh.
and they're like
As they like
critiquing.
D Harry
Well,
Potterify themselves.
well, it's more like they read it as a kid, they have fond memories, and now they're going
Yeah.
back to it.
And they're
They
like, woof,
decided
woof,
to
this is a
go
problem.
back to it before all the turf stuff came out about
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like even with before like they were looking for like her shitty attitudes about things,
Hmm.
they noted that like she is a really judgy person.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Like um and so yeah, so but it's also like according to Kevin, uh it's odd that Harry Potter takes place in a magic school because it seems like J.K. Rowling is thoroughly disinterested in magic.
The school. Yeah, actually.
Like how it works in general, because like
Yeah, it's all very
you like
loosey-goosey and like don't think about it too hard.
well, it's not even like loosey goosey where you can get vague ideas.
Mm.
But it's more like it just works because that's what she needs it to do at that moment. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so because I like a loosey goosey magic system.
Hmm.
Um, if it's loosey goosey and like
As discussed last
we'll
week,
do
Brandon Sanderson's over-the-top world building is boring.
yeah yeah
And
his
in-your-face
over
magic systems.
explanation yeah so like um them like uh something like Avatar The Last Airbender is like bending, it has some rules, but part of that
Yeah.
is like connected to your emotions and
Yeah, yeah,
also
yeah.
like
That was a good
vaguely
middle
how
ground.
well you're spiritually connected to the element that you're bending, like
Hmm. Well, and what
so
your
it's
element
sort of
does, like you like earthbenders are completely different than firebenders.
yeah. So I like that. I really liked have you read Jonathan Strange and Dr. Norval?
Oh, yes. Yes, I have, and I love it.
I wasn't particularly a fan of how it's written, but I feel
Mm.
like the conflict in that book is soft magic versus hard magic
Yep.
because like Norval is like he is a Brandon Sanderson wizard.
Yes.
Um
Yes.
and I really liked that Jonathan Strange is like working on metaphors and wordplay.
Hmm.
Like,
He's a little bit
and
more
I
like
think,
fairy chaotic, which is lovely.
but like even with that very chaotic stuff, like when he says stuff, like you can see the connections in his mind,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it's like the part where the ship is stuck, and it's like called horse sand, and that means that he makes horses out of it. Like, so he's using
Yes.
what like someone already calls it to like make a play on words, and that's powering his
Mm-hmm.
magic.
Which is
Um,
great.
and yeah, so I like so you can kind of see like the logic lines, even though it's a soft magic system. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of it. There was another series I read that was, and like, keep in mind this is in like the late 90s or early 2000s, that was based off of Chinese mythology. So one of the characters in there was the Monkey King, and one
mhm,
of the girls was friends with like the Princess of the Dragons, and the Princess of the Dragons was a girl most of the time, but like could turn into an actual like big
yeah,
Chinese dragon. And the adventure took them to the bottom of the sea because that's where the dragons live in their sea kingdom. And there was like all these like lavish descriptions of how the sea dragons lived and what they ate. And it was just so descriptively beautiful that my friend and I like would make we were doing basically like freeform role play in that world where we made up our own characters that lived at the bottom of the ocean. And I
mhm.
still have quite a lot of love for that series. Even if I can't
Um,
remember its name, I just remember the setting details.
so as a kid, things I successfully read are the beginning of the Animorphs books.
Oh, I love Animorphs
Um,
books. Hell yes, I can talk about Animorphs for hours.
I
Corey and
I
I have
realize
indeed.
I realize like I listened to Carrie Peach's podcast
Yep.
where she read all the Animorph books,
Hell yeah.
and realized that I gave up before shit got real cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. Because they kind of fuck around
Um,
on Monster of the Week it for a while, and then it gets real. Once the Hork-Bajir start
um,
coming in, it gets really real.
yeah. When I was a kid, I never got that far. So I think I
Whew.
read like 5 Animorph books before I
Right.
quit
So just to the point where
because
like Toby is now a hawk
a
forever.
hawk. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they just got their alien buddy,
Oh
or something like
yeah.
that. Um,
He's
and
great, and he gets better the longer the series goes on.
yeah, and I liked that I also as a kid I read several Goosebumps.
Yep.
Those
I read so many
that
Goosebumps.
um obviously I read Bunnicula.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then the author of Bunnicula is gay, so it's very clear that the cat and the dog are a gay couple. Like in hindsight,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, I can see that. I did not pick up on that then,
cause
but
cause they adopt a puppy, so it's
they do.
gay dads.
Yep, gay animal dads.
Yeah, and yeah, I mostly just watched way too much TV as a kid.
Mm.
I have told
I wasn't
people
allowed to watch
like
TV much.
yeah,
I
so
wasn't allowed
I have
sugar and I
told
wasn't allowed a
people
lot of TV, so like that's my upbringing.
yeah, I've told people that like if there was a dumb show that got canceled after one season, I have probably seen it.
Gotcha.
Because I just watched that much TV. Like I remember
Mm.
telling someone about that 80s show and they were like, "Do you mean that 70s show?" And I was like,
Like,
"No, no,
nope,
no. That 80s
nope,
show is the spin-off of that
yup.
70s show, which was very, very bad and got canceled and
But you
stars
have
the
seen
guy
it.
who plays Dennis in Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, good.
And apparently, that 80s show is responsible for Always Sunny in Philadelphia because
Oh my God.
in a recent podcast about like Always Sunny, the guy who plays Dennis is like, yeah, my paycheck from that 80s show let me purchase the camera that we filmed the pilot with of Always Sunny. Um,
Good,
so,
good.
uh, yeah, and I just remember
Oh
like
man.
telling, like, and here's the thing about bad TV is sometimes they stumble on interesting ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like there was a bad sitcom called For Your Love, which the premise is that it's three couples in different stages of their relationship.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
there's a couple that's dating, and the guy of the dating couple, his brother is recently married, so you have the newlyweds, and then the newlyweds, their neighbors are like the long term married couple.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, clearly, after like 3 or 4 episodes, they realize that the way married couples are written on sitcoms is really unhealthy.
Yup.
So frequently, the plot is newly married couple is having a problem. They ask older married couple for advice. Older married couple gives them horrible advice.
Yup.
Makes everything worse because older married couple is stereotypical sitcom married couple.
Who hate
Um,
each other, and
and
you're like,
and
why are you
and
together?
as
Oh,
it
wait,
turns
because the
out,
church.
yeah. Uh, well, here's the fun twist: is like they're like, well, eventually, like they can only be newlyweds for so long. Um,
Mm-hmm. And
and
they will
then they
turn into one of these
realized,
other
well,
groups.
so then, um, the um, newlyweds became the married couple. The married couple realized that their marriage is completely dysfunctional and they should get divorced. Um,
So now they're the
which they
divorced
did.
folks.
Yeah, so now they're a divorced couple. Um,
Interesting.
and that's how they shook it up. And then I believe it got canceled shortly after. But it was
Mm.
like, I'm glad they realized, like, on
Yeah.
hindsight, they were on something interesting of, like, textually
Yeah.
acknowledging that the stereotypical sitcom married couple is horrible and dysfunctional.
Yes. It was so funny because, like, I mean, it's not funny, but like when you grow up in the like 80s and 90s, what you see
Mm-hmm.
on TV is just mirrored this like completely dysfunctional, like almost abusive relationships over and over again on television couples.
Mm-hmm.
And then only in the late 90s, early 2000s did you actually start to see some like maybe we should have some nuanced relationships that aren't just like, oh, gotta
Yeah.
go home to the old wrecking ball. Sure hate her face. Oh man, they're always being awful.
Yeah. But yeah, I've seen a lot of bad TV, enough to
To
realize when they're doing something slightly different that had the potential to be good and
be
interesting.
interesting. I have read a lot of bad
Um,
books. Uh, so like I worked my way through the fantasy area at my local library. And I like literally read all of the books that I was
mhm.
interested in reading. And then I was like, well, I've read all the fantasy and they're not getting enough fast enough. So I'm going to start on sci fi. And I started on sci fi and I kind of loved some of it and then absolutely hated the rest because like people were all like, oh, you got to read this. You got to read Asimov and you got to read Clark. And I was like, they are super misogynistic.
I
Their female
didn't
characters are all just there to be rescued by the dude.
I didn't mind Asimov,
Mhm.
because his stories were so short that like the fact that the people weren't people didn't
That's
bother
true.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
He was
I was
all
telling
concepts.
yeah, I was telling my buddy Joe that like Asimov short stories are basically like a math problem in short story form, a logic puzzle,
You're not wrong.
and they're just short enough that that's interesting, and it doesn't wear out its welcome, and it's like by the
Mm.
time like you would want there to be more, it's like and we're
It's
done.
over now. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's over.
and I think like the fantasy authors that are weaker at writing characters,
Hmm.
frequently, if they also write short stories, I end up liking their short stories a lot better.
Yeah.
Like
No, fair. Me as well.
I I like Neil Gaiman's short stories a lot more than his longer
Yes.
work.
Yeah.
There was one where the Neil Gaiman short that I think is called like The Wedding Present.
Yep, with
Which
with the
I was
book.
like, yeah, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's fucking heartbreaking.
that is,
Um,
and also very poignant.
yeah, but it's like if this were longer, like I wouldn't like it. Like it's exactly as long as it needs to be.
Yeah, yeah, it's a well crafted, perfect length.
And
I think I like that better than the brown.
I liked Philip K. Dick's short stories more than his long stuff.
Mm,
Um, because I feel like his long stuff kind of peters out.
mm-hmm.
Because like the end of Man in the High Castle is kind of just it just
Yeah,
ends. Like
it just ends. It's just over now.
yeah, we're done.
Yep.
And I think Blade Runner is better than the book Dreaming of Electric Sheep. Um,
Mhm. If only because you get
uh,
those glorious visuals.
but also because they cut out a lot of the dumb shit.
Yeah, the just cyberpunk for cyberpunk's sake. Shit.
Because there's that whole thing with the guy who repairs the animals who accidentally quote unquote repairs a real cat
Yep.
and kills it in the process.
Yep.
Um, and it's like, okay, yeah, I've at this point I already got how realistic and lifelike androids can be. So like,
I got it. I'm there with you.
yeah, I
We
didn't
understand.
need cat
To die.
mutilation to
Yeah, please
get
don't
that
kill
point
this cat.
home.
Does the cat live? No. Cool. Cool. Don't need to read that chapter.
Um,
Yeah, I think I'm working a better angle here with the blue than with the gray. Make that
um,
like that color. That's better.
uh, but when I went and read all the classic sci-fi, I realized I do actually rather like H.G. Wells's sci-fi um,
Mm-hmm.
because he usually puts it in some sort of human perspective.
Yeah, which is really
Um,
nice.
the my biggest complaint about every adaptation of The Invisible Man is they do not keep um, the books is told to you via town gossip.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I wish like an adaptation of The Invisible Man would lean into that rather than like, oh, isn't it creepy that he could spy on you? It's like,
Yeah,
no, I want like the town gossip angle that made it really entertaining.
it's so juicy and so good.
Because I feel like every Invisible Man thing since then has been like, yes, he's the Invisible Man, but he's also a serial killer.
Yeah,
Um,
just to make it ooh spooky. And you're like, okay, sure, that's a thing. It's either that or they've made
and
him very innocuous. Like, there's certainly a lot of team ups where they throw the Invisible Man in there just as like, and here's another movie monster that you
yeah,
may have heard of. And then he's just sort of like, I am also here, but I'm invisible, so you can't see me. You're like, okay, good
yeah.
job, Invisible Man. Good job being invisible.
And then the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen has
Yeah,
him horrifically murdered.
yeah. They just announced more Umbrella Academy coming soon.
That'll be interesting because
Hmm.
I don't really know where they can go with it now.
They're doing the Sparrow Academy plotline, so they're gonna do like, there's a you're in a different dimension, but there's these guys. Who are you guys in this dimension? Now fight, I guess.
Cause that's how superheroes roll.
Correct. Correct. I'm looking forward to it because I do want to see. Come on, brain. Cool actor who transitioned, who is now going to be playing the same character, who is
Elliot
female.
Page.
Elliot Page. There we go. I want to see him reprise his role. It's gonna be. He was always one of my favorite characters on that show. So.
I really liked the guy who played Klaus. He's
Oh
very
God,
good
yes. Oh my
as.
God, yes. He's the best.
I loved that his 60s guru persona is just saying
Yes.
like Backstreet Boy lyrics.
Yes, but they're profound.
Yeah.
I love him as a character and as a concept. He's just very good.
Um
He's also very queer, and I enjoy that.
yeah.
To the point that they
And
just
on
straight out included him in the girls' night with his sisters.
yeah. Um yeah, I feel like I just don't want Vanya to be the villain once again.
No.
I feel like
No, we've
every
already had
season
that
has.
plot.
Yeah, well, we've had it twice.
Yeah.
So. Uh,
We could do without Vanya being the bad guy. They've sorted that all out.
the kid who plays number 4 is excellent.
Oh, he's very good.
He's very good at being a crotchety old man in a
Yes.
tiny boy's body.
I love when he does this face that he's just like, I am in a room of children.
Yeah.
I'm like, a kid that age should not be able to pull off a face like that, but he is fucking killing it. And I love how dumb they
Um,
all are. Even him sometimes.
yes.
I liked when he was going like time psycho in the
Yeah.
in the last season. That was very fun. Time psychosis.
Um, on HBO, there's now an excellent new show from the man who said all vampires are bisexual and idiots,
Excellent.
and then
Good, good.
said
Approve.
all superheroes are bisexual
Bisexual
idiots.
idiots.
Now from Taika Waititi, you get all pirates are bisexual idiots.
Oh,
He
lovely.
is
Oh,
a
I
new
like that.
he is a new show on HBO called Our Flag Means Death.
Oh,
Um,
good. And it's bisexual idiot pirates?
yeah, there's a lot of sexual tension going on there.
Oh, good.
Leslie
Oh, good. I love
Jones
this dearly.
was Leslie Jones had a cameo in one of the recent episodes where she was a pirate queen that had 20 husbands.
Good.
So
Good.
that was great. Um, one member of the crew is a lady disguised as a man because she killed one of said 20 husbands. So she's on the run
just
from Leslie
just took his
Jones.
spot. Oh no, she's on the run.
No,
Good.
she like yeah, Leslie Jones doesn't. She has 20, but she still is like, hey, you don't mess with my plethora of men.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
mine.
Oh,
No
Gopher
one
says it's
kills
based
them
on a
but me.
historical pirate.
Yeah, no. So the Rhys Darby plays the main character who is based on a historical pirate, who
Who?
is a nobleman that gave up his noble status to go
To
for a life
pirate.
of piracy.
Good.
And his boat was he was the only pirate that paid his crew wages,
Right?
because he just had the money to do so. Um, and
He's like, I should
very
pay you. Maybe you'll be
quickly,
loyal to me. And they're like, fuck yes.
um, not necessarily, because there are a couple. So boat very quickly gets taken over by Blackbeard, um,
Gotcha.
who is played by Taika Waititi in the show.
Oh,
Um,
oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, Steve Bonnet. Yes.
yeah.
Good.
So yeah, Rhys Darby is playing Steve Bonnet.
Oh,
Taika
very good.
Waititi is playing
Like
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard. Oh God. Okay.
Um,
I love what we do in the shadows so much. It
mhm.
is it is what every vampire lark becomes. Just a bunch of idiot vampires doing really dumb things. And that is my favorite.
What I need Taika Waititi to do, as much as I love him, I
Yeah.
need him to make Werewolves, which was the
Yes.
sequel to his uh, What We Do in Shadows that he
Mm-hmm.
talked about and yet has yet to make,
Mm-hmm.
which is about the Rhys Darby and all his werewolves.
Good. Good.
They need to get on that,
Yup.
so I can have my goofy werewolves.
Yup. Good werewolves.
I also like that What We Do in Shadows, the movie,
Mm-hmm.
um, is a secret love letter to Taika Waititi's friend Stu.
Is it?
Um, so the guy Stu um, is just a buddy of Taika Waititi that him and Jermaine Clement tricked into being in the movie more and more.
Good.
Like they're like, we
Good.
just need you to react to the scene that's going on, and they just did that over and over again. And eventually, he realized he's a main character. So the part where they ask him what he does for a living, that's what he
Mm-hmm.
really does for a living.
Oh, very
Um,
good.
and
Very good.
So the part where they're just talking about how great Stu is, that is like them legit
That's just
complimenting
real.
their friend. Uh,
Oh, I love it.
uh,
Oh man.
so
Hey Stu, we just think you're
uh,
neat. Please be in our film.
yeah, and become a werewolf.
Yes.
Stu.
Oh, I love it. I love Taika Waititi more than
He's
I can
great.
accurately uh, say to anyone. I was raving the other day about how wonderful Reservation Dogs is. I love that film on many different or series on many different levels, artistically, writing wise, but just like culturally, it's just a tour
Hmm.
de force. Like it's really really good, and they're not like, oh, we're gonna try and make this palatable for wide audiences. They're like, fucking keep up. We're not gonna explain any of this to you. You can figure it out or Google it, whatever. Just stellar, stellar, stellar
Um,
series entirely. But Willie Jack was originally written as a male character. And when I am blanking on her name as well now, but the actress who plays Willie Jack came and auditioned for the role of Alora because there was only supposed to be one girl originally
hmm.
in the crew of four. They were like, "We love you, but you're wrong for Alora, but we need you to be in a role. So like, can you read for Willie Jack?" And then she like rezzed up her voice a little bit more for it and like blew them all out of the park. And they were like, "Yes, correct.
Good,
This is the choice we should have made all along. What were we doing?"
good. Um, have you seen Hunt for the Wilder People?
No, I've heard that's very good though.
It's very good. It is the best blind purchase I ever made of a movie.
Oh,
Because
good.
basically, some friends and I we were watching a bunch of movies for New Year's Eve, like the year that it came out, um, and uh, basically like we were trying to see if Hunt for the Wilder People was on any streaming stuff,
Right.
um, and it wasn't. But I could purchase it on iTunes for like $15 or
Nice.
something like that. And I was like, you know what? I trust Taika Waititi enough to knowing
I'll buy that.
absolutely nothing about this movie that I'll just buy it. Um, and I was not disappointed. It's very good. Um, uh, the main kid in it is really good. He's a Maori kid that is running away because he doesn't want to go to juvie.
Mm,
Um, and he is aided by Sam Neill, who is an ex-con, which is why he
good.
relates to the kid not wanting to go to juvie.
Mm.
Um, and the kid has a dog named Tupac.
Oh, very good.
Um, and and Sam Neill has a dog named Zag, and they just go through
Zag.
the woods together. Yeah,
I love it. I'm very into this whole concept.
yeah. Uh,
Hey, Sam
and
Neill,
they're
real good.
they're on the run from social services,
Good.
who is played by Rachel House, who is
Oh, really?
yeah, she is the guard for Jeff Goldblum in the Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, good.
She, yeah, so she's just great. Um, Badger's asking me if I've seen the newest episode. I have not seen the newest episode, Badger. I heard the newest episode of Our Flag Means Death is very gay.
Oh, lovely. Good,
I
good, good,
that is basically what I was gonna do right after the stream is go watch
good.
that. But yeah,
I what have I been watching lately? Not a lot. I watched BattleBots. BattleBots this season is real fire. Very good. Possibly my favorite show in existence.
I don't know anything about BattleBots.
There are robots. They are real and they fight each other in an arena in Las Vegas.
Okay,
Very good.
that
Things
shit.
go smash. One of the robots got split into like four pieces. It was very exciting. I cheered very loudly.
I feel like I would feel bad for the robots.
No, no, because they're not like robots with faces. They're just regular robots. They're like, and the teams who build them are like really excited by the battles too, because they're like, oh my God, that was so cool. Even if their robot gets destroyed, they're just like, this is rad. I love this sport.
Do you name your electronics?
I tend not to.
Oh, I do. So
Mm,
this, even if they don't have a face, I name all my electronics.
gotcha.
Um,
I've never been like a name your car kind of person. The exception being my newest computer. I've never named a computer before, but this one is so fancy that I gave it a name. It's Peridot.
well, so they have names because like they're like, what do you want it to be called when it connects to your Wi-Fi
Yeah,
network or
exactly. And
whatever.
that's why I
Um,
named it Peridot because I can remember that for no problem.
um, so my Roomba's name is Jeff.
Aw,
Uh, After one of the werewolves in the city between.
good,
All my electronics are named after dudes in my comics.
good, good.
But
That's how to do it.
uh,
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been really closely attached to my electronics. Maybe it's just because they're very like I just kind of use them for stuff. But like I'll name plants. I name my plants. Oh, that's very good. Gopher Source's home or phone hotspot is Wi-Fi art thou Romeo.
oh, good.
That's very good.
Uh, Badger is telling me that his Roomba is named Rumberto, and that
Oh,
he put
good.
big googly eyes on it.
Oh, good.
So,
See, I
uh,
do like that. I would decorate my Roomba if I had one. I also would very much try to encourage my birds to ride on it, but they would definitely be terrified of it.
my Roomba keeps getting stuck in my bathroom.
Aw.
Because it like hits the bathroom door enough to open the bathroom door, but then because the bathroom door only swings one way, when it hits it from the other direction, it closes the door and then it's trapped in the bathroom.
Roomba. How good is it at like just keeping things swept up?
Pretty good.
Okay.
I hate vacuuming, so
Yeah.
it's doing its job. It says that like um it can really only handle like 500 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like it that's how big its sort of bag, or for lack of a
Oh,
better
okay.
word, is like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so it kind of like chunks around for like an hour. I usually
Oh,
like
go for Meg
turn
would
it
be
on
double
when.
terrified.
I usually turn it on while I run errands.
Cool, and then just let it run.
Uh, yeah, and just I put a box in front of my bathroom door so it doesn't get
So it
trapped.
doesn't get in there. Cool. I was vaguely thinking of getting one for my sister because her disability doesn't allow her to, like, she can't be around dust. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what if you had a Roomba though, and you could like set it and then leave the house for a couple hours, and then when you came back, your floors would be okay. Because
Yeah,
it also means that she has to vacuum like way more often than anyone would normally because she can't have dust around the house.
yeah.
And I was just like,
Uh,
okay, cool, cool, cool. Well, they're expensive enough that I couldn't just buy it on my own. But like if my mom and I put in, we could get her a Roomba, and then she could just like set it to like go out at one every day, and then go out
emptying
for a
it
walk at that time.
emptying it might be difficult for her, but
Mm. She can get her husband to do that.
okay. Um, so
She
yeah,
just like literally can't be around when it is stirring up dust.
I would recommend it. I like mine.
Cool.
Um, it you have to like take everything off the floor. And
Yeah,
like
that'd be another hard part
it
because she's got a 3-year-old almost and a another one in a couple months. So
yeah, the
keeping things off the
guide
floor is
gave
tough.
like recommendations based on your house. I think
Hmm.
it was like run it every day if you have a pet or children.
Yeah.
Um, and for someone like me who has neither of those things, they're like once a week is fine.
Okay.
Uh,
Cool.
so yeah, running it every day, or because of her dust thing, maybe like twice a day, um,
Hmm.
might be a good idea. But yeah, so they're kind of like they can only handle 500 square feet. Um,
That's not too bad though, because like she would only need it in a couple areas, and you can like just set it for what areas of your house you need, right? Like you'd be like, don't go past here.
uh, I have I have the cheapest one, and it's not that smart.
Mm. Gotcha.
Um, I
We
just
would probably
you could
also be getting
close
her the cheapest
you
one.
could you could close the door, and
Okay.
it can't open the
And if there's
door.
like a baby
So
gate, it won't go down the stairs.
yeah.
Cool.
Uh,
Yeah.
but
No, that was what I was thinking for a new birthday present for her.
um, you have to clean the wheels because that's the thing. This hair keeps getting stuck in it.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh God, I've seen terrible, terrible photos of people who are like, "Oops, my dog crapped on the floor and my Roomba got into it, and now it's just everywhere. This is awful. This is the worst."
yeah.
Ugh.
The Roomba is not a smart thing.
No, no. But it is a cute little
Hence,
robot that lives in your house, and that's pretty
yes.
great. Yeah, Meg would be terrified of a Roomba. She does not like things that move that she can't see their eyes. Maybe she'd be okay with it if I put googly eyes on it. But like anything that moves is just instantly suspicious to her. To the point where I was just like sitting on the couch one day and she lost her shit and I couldn't figure out why. And then I realized my phone screen was in the sunbeam and there was a reflection on the wall that wasn't there a second before, and she could not handle
Ah,
that.
poor bird.
Yep. Hard to be a fear-based creature. I'm going to be done this one shortly. Kel, where is your list of character dudes? I want to draw one of them.
Do you like to draw beardy dudes or lanky tall dudes?
I mean, either or. I do like a beard. Draw a beard.
All right. I will send you a
Send me your
picture of
wolfiest
Jeff.
guy. Good. Good, I want to draw
The
Jeff.
Jeff the werewolf.
Jeff the werewolf.
Which now I'm just thinking of what we do in Shadows, where the guy's her lover's reincarnated, and she finds out his name is Jeff, and she's like, Jeff, like,
Yes, that was very good. I'll make it. Oh, Jeff. Oh, Jeff. Come to your window, Jeff. I love you.
But she just hates that name, so she goes back to Gregor.
Yes. Jeff. In my very first vampire LARP I ever played in, well, not the first one, because that was just a one shot. That was London during the Blitz. But the very first like chronicle I played in, there was a vampire named Trevor, and his character concept was very fun. He was a vampire life insurance salesman, so he would sell
Good.
like life or unlife and haven insurance on their like secret hidey holes to the vampires. So that he's like, yeah, if your haven gets burnt down with you inside it, your all of your progeny will get this much money, blah 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 blah. But only if these sorts of provisos and provisions and stuff, because like obviously I gotta cover my own costs, and vampires live for a very long time. And he would always wear the tackiest suit because this was a LARP, so he was like a guy dressed up at the game. He'd always wear the tackiest suit and then have red Tic Tacs that he would constantly be fiddling with the packet for. And he was like, if you taste them, they're blood flavored. They're actually just like little blood pellets that he snacks on all the time.
Good.
And he was such a delightfully tacky character concept that Trevor just became instantly funny to me. Trevor the vampire.
Have you read The Utterly Uninteresting Adventures of Fred the Vampire Accountant?
No, but I love it. I love that just as a concept.
Basically, the plot is that it's a lame accountant guy who,
Good.
um, is turned into a vampire and decides to continue to be an accountant.
Oh, very good.
And then he finds out that the government knows about supernatural shit.
Mm.
And there's all these like unique tax laws for supernatural creatures. So he's found his accounting niche
Oh,
because
good.
they don't have to explain why they're trying to write a cage off as a business expense
Nope.
or like a
That's just the
healthcare
thing.
expense. Anyway, I have linked
Useful
you
if you're a
to,
werewolf too. It's like I get myself
yeah.
a cage.
Well, like that's the thing is he's now the accountant for all the supernatural creatures.
Oh, that's a very good concept, and I love it.
Um. Anyway, I have sent you a picture of Jeff up in a tree with
Thank you.
his love interest, who's a veterinarian.
Oh, good. Oh, I am
Um.
reading some new vampire fiction. Come on, brain. What is it called? It's a really cool book that is set in Mexico City, and I believe it's called Certain Dark Things. Give
Yes,
it a
I've
quick
read that one.
Google.
It's really
Certain
good.
Dark Things is really good.
Yeah.
The main character is based off of like a Aztec vampire, and I love it.
Yeah, and the Western vampires are killing them.
Yes, yeah,
Because
and like
imperialism.
colonizing. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Western
Um.
vampires are colonizers, and I'm just like, oh God,
Uh.
this is the vampire fiction I needed in my life. I love it. Please give me
The
more of this.
what else is good is the same author wrote I think it's called The Beautiful Ones, and it's not
Hmm,
vampires, but it's basically like Pride and
that's fun.
Prejudice, but what if people had psychic powers?
Oh, good, I love it.
Um,
Yes,
because it's
please.
like that sort of like English like polite society stuff that Pride and Prejudice runs on, but
Mm-hmm.
like people are acknowledged to have psychic powers in this world. And
Good.
so like the main guy um was spurned by this wealthy lady who is
Not spurned.
now who is now married, and her like cousin, he's now like courting her cousin, to sort of like as a way to like reveal that they slept together before she was married, to like ruin her reputation, but he needs to like
Ah.
get in her social circle first.
Right. For it to,
um
yeah.
and so he like can move objects with his mind, and the person that he is pretending to be interested in also has that power, and she like wants someone to teach her, but people are like, oh, but proper ladies don't use their psychic powers or whatever. Like some
Good.
bullshit like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of like, yeah, so that's really good, especially if you want like Pride and Prejudice but with supernatural shit involved.
I
um
always do. Like, please,
uh
please give that to me.
yeah, so that I've liked everything by that author, Sylvia something Monroe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I
need to look up more of her
Yeah.
stuff then, because I'm really impressed with this book. It's so good. I'm more than halfway through. I couldn't put it down last night. I stayed up too late reading it. I got another go. I'm probably gonna. That's what I'm doing after the stream.
Yeah.
It's real good. Really good.
Yeah. So
Give me
I
more
really
Indigenous
dug
vampire
that,
stories, please.
and right after I read her vampire book, I haven't read her newest one, which is something, I know Gold's in the title, but I just haven't
Mm.
picked up the audiobook yet.
I had to do a bag of chips, and on the
Mhm.
label I have hidden the word is potato.
Um, someone laughed because I
Is
was
potato.
Dead Deception is about a murder that happened in a convenience store.
Oh, good.
And so on the shelf, all the junk food was like references to ancient memes.
Oh, excellent.
I
Like all
think
your
only
base,
like two people got them.
badger,
Well,
badger,
it's
badger.
no, it was potato chips.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh,
Yeah,
that's excellent.
yeah. So it was chips.
Good.
I think like two
We,
people commented that they got the reference.
uh, I went on a writing retreat with a couple artists or author friends of ours, and I don't know
Mhm.
how the conversation came around to like 1998. Oh, there was a bottle of wine someone brought that was from 1998, and we cracked it open to celebrate. Um, and then we had to go and like Wayback Machine the internet to 1998, and we looked at a bunch of GeoCities pages, and we went and pulled up like all your base and
The
Badger
Space Jam
Mushroom.
website is preserved.
Oh, and still glorious.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, that was a good night. That was very fun.
Uh, but yeah, I love coming up with dumb things to put in store shelves. Uh,
I don't like drawing the store shelves, but I sure like putting dumb things on the shelves.
I like doing it. It just takes too long. Like
Yeah, that's why I don't like doing it.
uh
It's fun,
um
but it is very time consuming.
yeah.
For Ware Geek, I ended up drawing three different library shelves, and then whenever they were at the gaming store, it was just those library shelves over and over again with different colors.
Hmm.
I was like, fuck,
Um
I'm not drawing this much stuff this often. We also started looking at weird VTubers on that trip because we
Mm-hmm.
had like we're just hanging out and we're like, what are some like there's all the anime girl VTubers, there's like cat boys and all that stuff. But like
Mm-hmm.
there's a fridge. There's somebody whose VTuber is a fridge. I love.
Yeah.
There was what was another really good weird one? There was one that was like a sentient malware ad.
Jesus.
It was just bonkers, and they stayed in character the entire time as this like bit of malware. Um, there was some fun ones where I was just like, okay, okay, not super into the anime girl, but do love. Oh, there was one that was a bowl of fruit. It's just I'm a bowl of fruit, and I will talk to you. I don't know how long that would be funny for, but it's sure funny the first time you see it.
Amanda knows how to make like VTuber
Yeah, she made
models.
herself that cool possum,
Yeah.
which I love. She is a force of nature. I like that she makes puppets.
Yeah. Amanda makes cool shit.
Hmm I loved her Halloween costume last year, where she's like, "I want to be a creepy cat demon and give children candy." I was like, I approve of this entirely. I love all of this concept.
I'm not a costume person. Part of me wishes
Mm,
I was.
I am
Uh,
such a costume person. That's one of the reasons I LARP. So I can dress up in costumes on the reg.
I yeah, I'm the person who does not want to be in costume.
I
I
mean,
got
costumes
slightly
are
frustrated.
terribly uncomfortable
Well, it's also
and
like they take a
expensive.
lot of effort. Yeah,
Hmm
that's a lot of time and money and effort that I don't
hmm
have. And I have a friend here in Portland, and I've been increasingly frustrated with every time they had a party, it was a costume party.
Costume party.
And I was like, I want to hang out with you and I want to have a good time with you, but I don't want to have to come up with a costume every time we hang out.
Yes.
Like,
Or be uncomfortable at your house for like 3 hours.
yeah.
There's a thing in town here called the Parade of Lost Souls that happens every year before Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And it's maybe my favorite thing in the world. Because it is a section of Commercial Ave that they just like street festival. So that's shut down for traffic and you can just come and hang out. You don't have to wear costumes, but you can if you want to. And so there's always like a crowd of like half of the Parade of Lost Souls is just like folks who've come out to enjoy this Halloween experience. And then there's people like me who are fully in costume and often fully in character as whatever weird monster creature they're dressed as, and we run around and just Halloween to the max and like howl and dance around with each other and have like little devil dances. It's delightful. I love it so much. It hasn't happened the past 2 years because of COVID, and I miss it
Yeah.
deeply.
I like drawing Connor being a smarmy asshole. It's fun to
Good.
draw. The characters I'm drawing now are currently debating um, the morality of different ways to deal with supernatural creatures that are causing a problem.
Ooh.
Uh, because that is the whole theme of Murky Water is
Mm,
um, the antagonist is a lady who assisted her husband's suicide because he did not want to be a werewolf.
right.
Um, and she killed him with magic water, so there is no way to like prove that she helped.
Gotcha. Yeah.
She basically has waterbender powers.
Cool.
And so
She waterbended him,
he
assisted suicide.
drowned in his
Yeah.
apartment, which is not near any water source.
Gotcha.
Um,
I think that's them
and
Dragon Boys
so,
done. They look pretty good, I think. Happy with them.
uh, And so she is staying in town because her and her husband were werewolf hunters, and they're like, well, there's a werewolf that's a murderer that we're after.
Mm.
Um, and cop main character Maria is all like, that's vigilantism and that's wrong.
Right, right.
But also letting a murderer go free is wrong. But also, like, so it's a like, there isn't a way to solve this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
um, and she is talking to Connor, who has more experience with this, and bringing up the vampire of the last case that they worked, which Connor shot in the head, um, which does not kill a vampire.
Right.
Um, and he's like, I took care of it, so she's not gonna, we're not gonna hear about her again.
Mm.
Um, and she assumes that he killed said vampire, and he's like, no, I took them to a vampire to teach them to control their powers, so we're not going to hear
Good.
about them, because if they decide to kill people, they probably will now know how to cover it up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but we also don't know if she's going to continue to kill people. So
Right.
that's why I did not kill her. You cannot uh, do
Just
that.
murder her. Yeah.
Yeah. And then main character is like, oh, but that means that like she's free to go around killing people all over again. And he's like, yeah, but she hasn't done that yet. So,
So we can't
uh,
prejudge her on what
yeah,
she may or may not
basically,
do. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and then she's like, okay, well then you know about this werewolf hunter who's going to like hunt down and kill other supernatural creatures in the city, and you're not doing anything about that. And um, he's like, I warned people to like lie low while she's in town.
Gotcha. We'll just see what
Um,
she ends up doing. Whatever.
and then she's like, well, you're not worried that she's gonna attack you since everyone knows that you're a werewolf? And he's like, I'm famous and on TV, and she doesn't want people to know what she's up to, so I'm too
I mean,
famous to get murdered by the werewolf hunter. Um,
cool. Good. I'm too
um,
famous to be murdered.
yeah, basically. And she's like, oh, so you have the privilege to do nothing? And he's like,
Yeah,
yep.
basically. Yep. It's good.
Uh,
I don't have to burden my
so
conscience with this.
well, he did, tell other people like, hey, Lilo.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Just so you know,
He
this
did
is going on.
he did what he could without taking a violent action.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh man. So I've been writing what was meant as a short story and is slowly becoming a novella. Um, that's cyberpunk-ish. Uh, not the cyberpunk fic I've also been writing, but a different project. Where one of the main character's rules are they are a trickster and they have to follow the way of the trickster, which means
mhm.
not solving problems with violence. They're not allowed to take the easy way out and do the violent route. Which, when you're writing cyberpunk and there's like a corporation and guards after you, it's very tough to write some of them scenes where you're like, okay, well they're coming after them with like machine guns. How are they going to get out of this?
Yeah.
But it's a challenge, and I am enjoying the challenge because it's
It's
so often just like, well, they grab a gun and then they shoot at the other person and they run away. Like
one
that's how
of
you
one
write
of
that
the
action scene.
things one of the rules I have for writing city between stories is it's never the end of the world.
Nice.
Um because I feel like too many supernatural stuff like get into a problem escalation, like
Yeah,
power
yeah, and
creep.
it's always the end of the world. Yeah,
And yeah, and then it's always the end of the world. And then also like if it's the end of the world, then that justifies like a lot of shady immoral actions.
yeah. Especially if it's to solve the end of the world. You're
Yeah,
like, well,
like
we
it's
could throw our
it's
morality out
just
the window.
yeah, it gets very ends justify the means.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Because anything's better than the world ending. So yeah,
yeah,
okay.
and also uh there's a YouTube I watch, Overly Sarcastic Productions, who they
Nice.
do little short videos that explain different tropes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a thing that they pointed out about it's the end of the world stories, um, is especially if it's a series, you know the main characters are gonna win. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Because there's going to be
where
another book.
yeah, like whereas if the thing is like save this one person's life, they could theoretically fail and still like live to have the
Yeah,
next book. Um
yeah.
um but so yeah, so it gets more like complicated if it's just how do we deal with this murderer who we
Mm-hmm.
cannot publicly charge with anything,
Yeah,
because the murder weapon is magic water.
I like that. I know
Um,
in our D&D game that we play, Trash Heroes, one of my favorite plots this far has been the we need to go and get owlbear milk because the idea is like D&D is a game where it's very easy just to kill all the monsters all the time and you're encouraged to do
mm-hmm,
so. You get XP for it. Uh this was like, no, we need fresh owlbear. We need fresh milk. Um but we need to not like kill these endangered owlbears. So it was like, how do you subdue an animal? You can't reason with it because that's our other thing
mm-hmm,
that we do a lot is we like reason with bad guys because we have a lot of socially inclined characters. It's like, well, we can't reason with it. It's an animal, but you don't want to just fight it and kill it either. How are you going to deal with this problem? That was fun. That was a fun plot. I like making characters do
yeah.
things that they wouldn't normally for reasons.
I'm also having fun with Maria not doing well with this gray morality.
Yeah.
It's the buddy cop duo of the cop that's by the book, but if there is no book, what do they
What do
do?
you do? Yeah.
Uh, and also all cops are bad.
Theme. It's happening. It's also real.
Um,
This guy's got a big fluffy collar, which I love. Like a fluffy collar on a werewolf.
Jeff is fun to write because he's got a lot of himbo energy.
Oh, good. Here he's in a pensive pose. I went to the random pose generator, which I like to do sometimes when I'm just like, I don't have an idea in mind for a pose. Just give me something. And I got this really cool, like pensive, staring at the camera pose.
Good.
He's got tall boots. Change that. Tall boot action.
I really like drawing characters in winter gear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, eventually time will have to pass and it can't be winter anymore. Um,
But
it'll
also,
be so sad.
it's fun to
Yeah.
draw coats,
Yeah.
especially if they're werewolves and you can put cool fluffy stuff on them. Oh man, not to simp for Disney, but I'm gonna simp for Disney for a minute. Have you seen Turning Red?
Mm-hmm. I
Oh, it's
have
so
not seen
good.
Turning Red.
Okay,
Basically, so like the trailers for Turning Red made
yeah.
me not super interested in it.
Mm.
And then the
All the
uh,
all land controversy.
yeah, people talking about it
Yeah,
have been like made me be like, oh, maybe I should see it. Because the thing is I don't
yeah,
really like Pixar movies in general.
yeah, yeah.
So
This okay. This
um,
is the least Pixar movie that Pixar has made so far, I think.
Yeah.
It's it's not going in for the feels in the same way. If
Hmm.
you were a femme person in the late 90s, early
Yeah.
2000s, though,
Yeah,
oh
no,
my God, it's going for the
it's
heart of your
given me
nostalgia.
it's
It's about
given
you.
me it's giving me hardcore Tina Belcher vibes,
Oh, it's
and
real
I'm
good.
for it.
It's real good. Uh,
Um,
there is a plot line around a Tamagotchi. It's
yeah.
it's
Uh,
it goes straight for those feels. It's very good. Like not for like, oh no, drama feels, but like you remember being this age. It's that time period. And you're like, "Oh God, it
yeah.
is. Oh yeah. Oh shit."
Uh, yeah.
Also,
So
it's
it's
the least Pixar in terms of style as well, because the art style they chose for it is so cool.
yeah. So it's basically like everything that everyone's saying about it online has made me be like, oh, maybe I should check this out.
Yeah. It's
But
it's worth a watch. I from an animation stand or actually just from a I'm Canadian standpoint, holy crap, it's a real Canadian movie. There's a lot of Canadianisms in there, including I don't know how many people caught it, but there's a point where there's a sign in front of their school that says that it's Indigenous Peoples Day, which tells me exactly what time of year it was, even if the cherry blossoms wasn't a pretty damn good uh, descriptor. But Indigenous Peoples Day is always on the spring equinox, so you know
I
what
did
time of
not
year
know
it
that.
is. Yeah,
I did not know that. Because the U.S. doesn't have that.
yeah,
Or like now there's the we'll turn Christopher Columbus into Indigenous
yeah,
Peoples
yeah.
Day,
And
and
I
that's
couldn't
a
tell
good
you when
move.
Christopher Columbus Day is, but like I'm glad that it's
Uh,
not a thing anymore.
it's like in October, I think. It's one of
Mm.
those things. I'm very bad at remembering um bank holidays because I'm a freelancer.
Yeah, same.
They always bite me in the ass. Like I'm planning to go to the post office and like,
And you're like,
oops,
oh god damn it, it's closed.
it's closed.
Yeah,
And yeah, so
yeah, same.
um,
Or like Lane will mention and is like, yep, I don't work on Monday, and I'm like, what? Oh right,
yeah.
there's a holiday. I don't get those. Although I will take them now. I did too many years doing a comic where I did not take holidays, and then I got burned out. And don't do that to yourselves, children. It's bad.
Yeah.
Please do manage to give yourself some time off. I can't draw a man in a beard without making him look a little bit like Lane.
His face is a square, if that helps.
Yeah. Oh no, I've
That's what
gotten
I
that.
always do.
I like
Yeah.
his square face that I've then just
He
added
is.
hair onto.
Yeah. Um, like, and that's also kind of how I shape his beard. Is most of the time I just draw a square, and his beard helps shape that.
He's very Lane like. He's got the hair. He's got the squared beard.
Except he's buffer. I did
Yeah.
this. The story
Yeah.
starts with him being naked in a kennel.
Oh, good.
Um,
Oh, good.
it starts with
I'm gonna give
uh,
this boy some big shoulders.
good. That's appropriate. So basically, the story starts with he as a wolf. He is tranquilized and brought in to the like wildlife veterinary place.
Ah, gotcha.
And then the
They're like,
vet
we got this
lady,
weird wolf here. It's sick.
the lady in the tree with him, um, comes into work the next day, and there's a naked dude in the kennel.
I was like, whoa, what the hell?
Well, since the world knows about werewolves, she is surprised, but
Right, but not like, oh god,
like, oh yeah. So
unless
she,
somebody brought in a
um,
werewolf,
and
sir.
whenever I go back to these two, I'm planning to always have like the conflict to be like, so she's very science minded,
Mm,
and frequently in her pursuit of science about werewolves, she occasionally does not treat Jeff like a person,
right, yeah.
um, and crosses the line, because she's excited. So when they first
What
meet,
about the science of him?
Yeah.
science
When they
Jeff.
first, I have the when I'll show you the page where she finds him because I had fun with the lettering because she's asking a bunch of questions where the answers are not important. Um, so you don't get answers, and what's important is that she is asking the questions. Um, so it's like speech bubbles on top of each other.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Uh,
And is that doing the
and
censor job on him being naked in the cage?
no, he is covering his junk because
Okay.
he's being polite.
I
He
do
has his
like
hands over
a
it.
an amusing censor word balloon. Those are fun.
So yeah, I just sent you the page. Like she has the key to open it, and he's trying to take it from her, but she's too busy asking questions. So
And he's like, I am naked in a cage. Can I not be, please?
yeah, and then he breaks the cage. And because he could have gotten out of the cage at any time, he just didn't want to ruin it. So he was
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
once
she
again
won't let him
being
out.
polite. Yeah. Um,
Oh, he even says, I was trying not to do that.
yeah. But yeah, so she asks like, how many vertebrae do you have? Like, do they
Mm.
fuse together when they turn into a wolf, or do you always have the same amount of vertebrae?
Is it
Like, um,
involuntary?
um,
Good.
is the changing voluntary and involuntary action? And when you turn to a human, you have three extra vertebrae than a wolf. So do the vertebrae fuse
Yeah.
together somehow? Is your metabolism more canine or human? And like,
Yeah. How can you metabolize chocolate, for example? Does coffee
well,
kill
she
you?
then says, or does being changing shape, does it make you something completely different? And how does the full
Mm.
moon affect you? Like, is it a gravitational thing? Like, so she's just spouting out questions.
Good.
Um,
And he's like, I am in a cage. This is
yeah,
I I would like to
uh,
not be, please.
yeah.
Good. I like
Uh,
it.
he can eat
Ah,
chocolate.
those are good
To answer
questions.
your question,
He can't.
he can.
Okay,
Because
good.
werewolves have hypermetabolism that makes them immune to
Uh,
most poisons. So why would
nice.
chocolate be a problem?
Yeah.
Uh,
I love how many things there are that are deadly poison to most animals that we just eat because we're like, we have a big enough body mass that we can eat this.
yeah,
If we were lighter, it would kill us, but we're not, so we're fine. Like avocados.
yeah.
Do not feed your bird avocados. They're deadly poison, and a lot of people think that they can. If you have parrots, no avocado. Super poisonous. Uh, One of the things that they always warn me about at the vets, and I'm like, no, 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 no. I I feed my birds nothing that I don't Google if it's safe first because I'm that paranoid about them and I love them.
That's good.
Yeah,
Good birds.
they're good.
Um, I wish I
Oh,
drew
hey,
faster so I
Gopher, I
could.
will probably be. Oh, what's that?
I was gonna say, I wish I drew faster so I could get through city between storylines faster.
Mm, I was gonna say Gopher. I'll probably post some work in progress stuff on that story on my Patreon once it's a little more cleaned up. I'm still in the like just word salad phase where I'm just like, right, put as many words down as you can and then come back and clean it up. But I'm liking where it's going so far. It's really fun to write. I am really enjoying writing cyberpunk of every kind, if you couldn't tell.
I'm having fun with my future werewolves.
Good. Future Marxist werewolves. I love them. There's a werewolf man sitting
Please
looking at the
send it to
camera.
me.
I'm going to. I'm gonna fix this fold on his shirt first and then color in his fluffy ruff.
Oh, other things that veterinarian asks Jeff is Jeff is a nurse.
Mm.
So she asks him if he can sense when seizures happen, like some dogs
Like
can.
a dog.
And the answer is no.
I had a friend who had a seizure dog. He was super smart. Part of
You
the problem
know,
with him was that he was so smart that you had to keep like she had to keep coming up with new um,
yeah,
exercises for him because he really wanted to learn all the time. But she couldn't do exercises that would like ruin the training that he already had.
yeah.
So she was just training him on a variety of items. Like, okay, well, this one is a ball, that one's a duck, frog. So he just wanted to learn more words, and then he would go and get that thing.
I actually don't know how dogs manage to sense seizures.
I couldn't tell you. I think there's something to do with like the chemicals in your sweat change or something. They can like literally smell that you are seizing,
Uh,
but
um,
I don't know if that
huh.
is 100% the
Because I
case.
looked up how they train dogs to smell drugs because part of the joke
Yeah.
of Connor being a cop is that he is a drug sniffing dog.
Oh, good.
Um, and then I looked up how they train dogs to
Hmm.
sniff drugs, and it's like, oh, Connor wouldn't even need that training; he could just learn it on his own. Because what
Yeah.
they do is, um, they fill the dog's favorite toy with cocaine.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when they're sniffing out cocaine, like they're just looking for their favorite toy.
Basically.
Cause
And then they're like, oh boy, I
I
found it, I
heard
found it. And then you
I
give
heard
them
a
their favorite toy, and they're
rumor.
like, I'm good at
Yeah,
this.
I heard a rumor that they like get the dogs addicted to coke, and I was like, that sounds horrible and not
That's
true.
bad. Yeah.
And I was glad to learn that it wasn't true. Like cops are bad, but they're maybe not that bad.
Hmm.
Um, so just
Maybe not
tricking them
addict
into
your dog to cocaine bad.
yeah. So
No,
yeah,
they just really enjoy doing their work.
yeah, because they want their favorite toy. So
Yeah. They're like, I'm very good at this, and I've got my toy, and then I get lots of praise, and then we play. It did the thing. I'm a good boy.
um,
Yeah, Drew, your man.
send them over.
Almost send him. I gotta save him first so I don't lose him. Jiff. Almost send him to you. The canvas is really big. Just ignore that.
Violet in my chat has said wolves can beware or be square in reaction to me
Oh,
saying
good.
Jeff has a square head. Badger has the
Oh, good.
answer that dogs can smell the difference in the blood sugar levels.
Ah, interesting.
Thank you,
I
Badger, for this
do
informative
like
doggo
dog and wolf
knowledge.
facts.
Yeah. Um, my werewolves are colorblind, though. They can only see blue and yellow like a dog.
Mm.
But I have it
I went
that,
to school
like,
with a guy who was
oh,
fully colorblind. Like he could only see in monochrome.
yeah.
And that was a problem because
Um,
we were in improv together, and the stage markers were all too
oh,
closely color. Like it was like red on a gray stage, and
oh,
the
their
contrast was
values
so
are too
much that he couldn't
close.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had to like remark everything with white because he's like, I'm gonna fall off the damn stage.
Um, So I have it that as the werewolves learn to control their powers, they get more colorblind. So they slowly,
Oh, interesting. The
uh,
color like bleeds out of their life.
as they get control over wolf them, so they're more. It's to show they're more connected to wolf them.
Mm.
Uh, so I've had in almost every story with Connor and Maria investigating, he has to ask what color something is for Maria.
Oh, good. Just to keep it fresh in the reader's minds. It'd be weird to do VanCaf again. They said if
I
you'd booked previously and you don't want to come out to this one, they're not going to penalize anybody. So like, it's not like, oh no, if I come out, I won't get a table next time, because they know it's pretty last minute. I will probably do it just because I'm here and it's very easy
yeah,
to get to for me. But like, crossing the border always
I might
makes everything
reapply
tougher.
next year, but yeah, I'm not gonna do it
Yeah,
this year.
yeah, it's a little short notice. I'll go. I'll check it out, see how it is. Um, I
I
think
mean,
it'll be
Emerald City
smaller as
wasn't
well.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
Emerald City was pretty good. Despite
so.
it being a quarter as many people as there normally are, I did pretty good at that show.
Yeah, everyone was there doing their Christmas shopping is the thing. So.
Yeah, yeah. And it felt weirdly normal to be back doing a convention again. It was like, oh, okay, I remember how to do this. Yeah. Although Sam and I were both saying when we were at the furry show that like we've gotten a lot slower at drawing commissions in person because we're so out of
Mhm.
practice with it. Like Sam and I used to
That
be able to draw a pet
that's
portrait in like no time.
that's why I don't really like doing commissions at shows. Is I
Mm,
can't think about selling stuff and
and
do
draw at the same
commission.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's why I, for the bigger shows, have started bringing table help with me because I like if Lane will come and like handle the sales while I draw commissions.
How do you get
Whereas,
stuff to San Diego Comic Con?
oh
Usually.
boy, I haven't done it in many years. But when we were going to do it in 2020, the plan was to ship it to a friend who lives like an hour away, and then Sam was going to drive down early to spend some time with him because they were like, I think they're in Anaheim or something, and they were going to
Okay.
like go and do Disneyland and do all that stuff. So he was going to be down there the week before, and then they would rent a U-Haul, load up all the boxes that everyone had shipped down to them, and then
Well,
drive
if
it
I
to
can
the con.
also send boxes to this Sam's friend in Anaheim, then
Yeah,
I would appreciate that because,
I will ask him about that because like it's
uh,
a hell of a
yeah,
show to do. Also, it is like 2 weeks before or 2 weeks
yeah.
after Emerald City, and then 2 weeks
I'm committed to doing it. I
before.
just don't know how I'm getting anything there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's really close to all the cons and it's gonna wear me out. I think I'm gonna have to like basically take that entire month off and just
Mhm.
do cons. I'd be like, I can't do any of my freelance work that month. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. Did you send over the picture on Discord?
Yeah, it should be on Discord.
seeing it.
Huh. Why does it not go? Oh, I didn't hit
There we
enter.
go.
There.
That explains it. Oh, yeah,
It was
good.
loading.
Uh,
There's Jeff looking pensive
yep,
in a randomly generated pose.
good.
I was going to post it for the stream, but I realized that you've all watched me draw it, so you're well aware of what it looks like.
Yeah. So, the thing is, like, I've had fun doing with City Between is like designing what the fashion looks like. I'm trying to make everything asymmetrical.
Oh, nice.
Um, but also
That's
like,
fun.
so Jeff's shoulder thingies on
Yeah.
his jacket, that's a hood. So it's like the hoods are way bigger,
Oh,
and they
cool.
just so they look like uh if he was to like pull it up, it would be like a big hood rather than like the way we usually
Yeah,
have hoods.
cool. Snoring out on the couch. I think Lane fell asleep.
I think I need to look up reference for the next thing I have to draw, and that's going to take a long time. So rather than jump into that, I'm cool with calling the stream early, like
Yeah,
15
me
minutes.
too.
Yeah,
I'm basically done drawing. I'm just kind of noodling around on that commission I was
yeah.
working on earlier, but I'm fine calling early too.
All right. Thanks
That
everyone
was
for
fun.
watching. Um,
Thanks for joining us.
so y'all have a good
Next
night.
week, I also am busy on Tuesday. We have one more meeting.
Oh, okay.
Do we want to try
I'm
and keep it on a Thursday or just
I
take a week
am
off? Or
recording a podcast, so we can take a week off.
okay, sounds good.
uh,
So we will not see you all next week, but we'll see
yeah.
you after
So the
that, and
week
we'll let you know what
after,
night.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Probably Tuesday, unless it's gonna keep. You're gonna keep
Yeah.
having your meeting on
No,
Tuesday.
this is the last one. Yeah.
Okay.
This was
Well,
we
thanks
couldn't
everyone.
all make the meeting before, now we had to reschedule.
Yeah. Have a good night, everyone. Y'all have a
Thanks for joining us.
yeah. Thanks for hanging out and listen to us talk about werewolves and kids books and
Hell yeah.
yeah. Bye.
Bye.